15 books to become 15 times richer, summarized in one place, in one video, with 15 concrete changes you will have to stick to, like an entrepreneur's checklist, and a 16th book as a bonus if you stay until the end. The first book summarized for you is Tools of Titans. It's a behemoth, a heavyweight of almost 600 pages in large format. It's better than the 4-Hour Workweek by the same author, Timothy Ferriss. And here is the major change you need to respect right now. You don't learn by rote, you only learn by test. What works is when you can afford to test lots of times. But to do this, you first need a financial cushion. And secondly, you need to have a sub-monkey, sub-dog mentality. What's that? It means you have no ego. Your goal, even if you're wrong, is to go back. You're not looking to be right, you're looking to be rich. To do that, you're going to have to try out a huge number of businesses, a huge number of YouTubers, a huge number of training courses, and a huge number of books. That's what I did. Having gigantic mind maps on Canva, whatever you want, having unlimited databases on Obsidian, it's useless. Why? Because you're working like some kind of college professor, university professor. Today, we have to adapt to our century with the changes brought about by OpenAI. It's only because AI is changing that humans have to change too. Otherwise, you're going to get eaten. That's clear and simple. AI will soon be able to recite for you even a really perfect, automatic, well-organized PDF summaries of 600 pages of 80 books. So, what's the point of creating huge databases all over the place on I don't know how many applications? We don't care about that. The important thing is that you go fast. How many people do I know who already knew Yomi Denzel, for example, when he was called Yomi on Shopify? Look at what he has done since then and compare it with your own success and evolution. Yes, he used the law of scale. It's from the Millionaire Fast Lane. You will see it's next to become rich. But it's mostly because he was already making videos about dropshipping back in 2018, or at least e-business brands. The earlier you start, the better. And that's everywhere. But before you know where to start, there are two principles to respect. The first is to avoid ego at all costs and not to tell everyone about your financial ambitions. I remember friends who, on Snapchat, will post high-income plans in a story saying, in October I need to earn 3,000, in November I need to earn 5,000. And they would post this in their stories to their close friends and family. That's the best way to give yourself a beating. People will laugh at you. If, on top of that, you're alone, you're going to quit your job or you're going to get in trouble with all your close friends and family. Don't tell anyone about your success and be able to fail on your own. When you have successes, wait, as Robert Greene would say. Be even more suspicious. Really stay in that testing mentality. You are here to test everything, to ask yourself questions you haven't asked yourself before. The second principle of this first ultimate lesson is that you are going to use YouTube as the best intelligence AI for the rat race of content creators. So, we fight to always provide the best content, the trendiest content, the most concrete content. Take advantage of this as a viewer to obviously follow the right people and avoid duplication. That's my advice. Don't follow YouTubers or trainers, whatever, who do the same thing. That really sucks. Why? Because they will probably contradict each other, which will lead to paralysis. You won't be able to do anything because, in effect, two people you put on the same level are advising you on two different things. And all the while, years go by. Practice makes perfect. And even if you don't use it yet today, because you're going to say, but wait, in the end, I'm only going to use maybe 3, 4, 5 actions. That's my advice. Out of 600 that you studied, you're going to tell me, honestly, it was really boring, it was really heavy and all. Look, there are others that have already started. They have started their cumulative effect. They have done this. Know this, even for another subject, first, the thinking you have and the ideas you have learned, your brain will remember them when you need them. For knowledge, what's super useful, like food, is that there is never any leftover. Because no matter what, if your brain is always in action and if you are working every day, that's the case. Your brain will remember the information because it's all imprinted in your unconscious. Yes, there will be breakage, but movement is error. As you know, if you are more successful than the people around you, you will break a lot more than them too. You invest in crypto, it fails. You make property visits, you get turned down. You try to negotiate with clients or whatever, they lower your price, you refuse. You may have tried to learn dropshipping, but you failed. Maybe you tried to learn coding, but you failed. We fail much more than others. On the other hand, they stagnate all their lives. So, since they're going to die, they wither away. And us? Well, yes, actually, it's a cryptograph. Since that's what's fashionable at the moment, it's a cryptograph. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. And if you see it every day, you go crazy. It doesn't make any sense. On the other hand, if you see it over the year, you understand that it's in the form of a cycle, a bit like your life. This second book summarizing how to become 15 times richer is M.G. DeMarco's The Millionaire Fastlane, in which he has listed and synthesized 500 pages on money alone. What's his major change? What's the book's ultimate lesson for you? It is that you don't choose a business by chance, nor do you choose a business because you would like to do it, because there's money to be made in it. Once again, that's a red herring. Don't listen to the online trainers you see advertised. That doesn't work, because online training is also a profession. It's also a business model. What you're going to do instead is think like a millionaire and do with your business what you already do all day long. Tell me the activity where you can spend maybe 5, 10, 15 hours, where you already have a lot of talent on it. You're good at it. It's easy for you. In your spare time, well, you watch lots of videos on it. That's fine. For example, in my case, the business I find most profitable today, and what I would have done, I think, if I were starting from scratch and really didn't want to go on camera at all or go on the internet or whatever, would have been automation. In automations, for example, for businesses, or in automations for entrepreneurs, for content creators, whatever you want. On the other hand, is it really in my genetics, in my role, in my personality, that I am wired to spend 15 hours a day in the beginning to train for maybe 2 years on automations? Maybe not. With API keys and all? Maybe not. On the other hand, what I have noticed working with a lot of service providers all over the place, graphic designers and copywriters, is that these jobs are perhaps less profitable than automations. Maybe I don't believe in it as much. We all agree on that. On the other hand, these are jobs where I can spend hours and hours and hours. I can consume a lot of content on them. So I should go more towards this kind of business. Do you understand what I am saying? Choose a business where you can spend hours looking at content, training yourself, and above all, where you yourself are the first customer. So you can already show off your creations that you have made, in quotes, in recreation mode, that is, without being paid to do so. This is not the ultimate rat race either, folks. And this second key school effect is that since you love doing it, you are in no hurry to make it profitable. In fact, you don't mind putting in I don't know how many hours into the thing, even to earn 100 bucks. Who cares? Because no matter what, tomorrow morning you're going to start all over again. At the end of the day, you really are your next company's first customer. Make a distinction between the two, because I have friends who still talk to me today about SMM agencies, telephone closing, chatting OnlyFans. Yes, it happens sometimes, and so on and so on. Even drop shipping, even today in 2024. You can tell they're in it for the money. So they're doing it for the wrong reasons. So they're going to try at all costs to make as many customers as possible profitable, because every hour is counted. And inevitably, there are competitors on the market with 100 times the reputation and 100 times the portfolio for perhaps the same price, because they often have huge egos. They're matrixed to the high ticket. The high ticket guys, again, I tell customers, the high ticket only serves one person, and that's the seller. So here, it's old school of new trends. In other words, yes, we're surfing new trends, but we're sticking to old principles. The books, guys, every line you read, for example, from the 10x rules, that's the next one, will still be relevant 1000 years from now. But most of the training courses I have been a customer to were created several years before I bought them, so they were already obsolete. The third book I have mentioned to help you become 15 times richer is Grant Cardone's The 10x Rules. I would not recommend his training courses at all. He is a guru who has been exposed by Jordan Belfort, the real wolf of Wall Street, by the way. I invite you to listen to their podcast. It's really interesting, but his book is fantastic. Why? Because it teaches you how to set extraordinary goals in a concrete, realistic, and achievable way. In the end, it makes the dream almost concrete, almost 10 problems away from your current situation. So, you see, the challenge is pretty high. But its ultimate lesson, really its major change in the checklist you have to check it off, is that you just work through your day. Know this, all day long reading was my main activity. In other words, I'm not bored. In fact, for me, boredom was reading. And besides that, sometimes I had to eat, I had to go to the bathroom, I had to take a shower, I had to go and do some sport, I had to answer a girlfriend, I had to go and do some street pickup, I had to buy a product on Amazon, a suit, whatever. That took me away from my reading. But reading was my ground zero. It was sea level. It must be the same for you in the business that's going to make you rich. I will take the example of a coder friend. In fact, during the first 2 hours of his day, he's going to take food supplements, okay. He's going to go to the gym, okay. He's going to shower, okay. And what is he going to do the rest of the time? He will do nothing but code. He's got updates to do. He codes. He ends the day at 5 a.m. He ends the day at 5 a.m. coding. You call him at 6 p.m., he's working. At 10 p.m., he's on the computer, he's working. That's his sea level. So I ask you, what's your sea level? I'm going to work from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. 30. Guys, that's bullshit. Imagine me giving you a double fuck. That's rat thinking. trying not to get into trouble, but you are already a rat. You signed up for this. As I say, pay the price. Who do you think you are? And how do you expect to compete with those who are in this business? Because there are people smarter than you, who work harder than you every day. They're more efficient, more productive, with better brains. And they are not afraid of earning $400 a month for the first 12, 16, 18 months of their business. So, what are you going to do to beat them? Because the customer doesn't know everything you have put into it. He doesn't know who you're going to help with your money. He doesn't know all the promises you have made to your family, your girlfriend, your ex in a vindictive way. Don't worry, I will show you that I'm right. All the customer sees is the quality and the price, the guarantee and the reputation you've got. That's all they see. So, what you check off in your change is that in the beginning, you have to become your own slave. You have to be in free self-slavery as well. Why? Because if you're looking for money, that means you've got the soul of a rat. It means that if I don't pay you, you're a donkey. If I don't put carrots in front of you, you don't work. No, you have to be able to work for yourself too. I often say that through work, you can see someone's true worth. And how do you translate someone's true worth? Because that's pretty abstract. Does he love himself or not? Does the person love himself enough to take care of him? Imagine, for example, someone who is completely obese, overweight, filthy, doesn't shower and all that. Do you feel like talking to him? What do you think of him? You say to yourself, but this person doesn't like himself. First, he is incapable of taking care of himself. He's not even capable of looking his best. Pet dogs are prettier than he is. So, don't think in terms of needing to be paid. Instead, work all day. Work is your common state. The first lesson in becoming 15 times richer is the most underrated book in personal branding, Selling Luxury. It's a book I found by chance. It has no reputation in a physical library. I'm going to give you the checkpoint, the major change to apply. Let's say the ultimate lesson of this book. Stop buying the same clothes, even from different brands, but in the same style that you see everywhere. If you already have 6 sweaters, 6 pairs of socks, 4 pairs of jeans and 10 t-shirts in your wardrobe, you don't need to spend even more money on clothes, even if you want to. Why am I telling you this? Because you're probably stupid if you think like this. It's a good thing I'm telling you this. I quote the personal MBA. What do you think of the you of 6 months ago? The you of 1 year ago? The you of 5 years ago? If you are on a positive cumulative effect, if you are always learning new things, if you are stimulated like I am by these books, by these videos, by the suits, by new ideas, new risks taken on an entrepreneurial level, inevitably you find yourself dumber. You don't have to have ethics. You don't have to have an ego to tell someone they're stupid, that they're dumb. You have to think in terms of reasoning. In fact, you don't really want new clothes. In fact, you need a new style. I'm either in a tracksuit in civilian mode when I go shopping, when I go running, or I am in suit pants, 3-piece at the moment. I love 3 pieces. Nice tie, whatever you want. When I'm making videos, when I'm in a meeting, when I'm on an important call or whatever, I dress according to this style. I don't have lots of clothes for just a single style. You're probably afraid of how people are going to look at you when you put on the suit, because it's obviously not your usual look. Inevitably, it's innovative. They are going to say, "Who do you think you are?" It's up to you to accept that. And I'm telling you, the people around you can be your entourage, they can be your buddies, as we say, but the truth is, they're not your real friends. Why? Because inside, you're changing, not them. They will never change. With every choice you show them, the gap will widen toward the end of the friendship. And assume you will dress like a top 1%, even though you're not one yet. Because it's called the law of attraction. For example, there's a tip which is that even when you're working at home, well, dress as if you were going to work in a big architect's office outside. Why? Because by putting on a suit and so on, you're obliged to work. Sometimes, I will tell you the truth, I don't feel like making videos. I don't feel like shooting yet another video when I have been shooting morning and night for maybe 1 week straight. Frankly, I don't feel like it. I feel like watching an MMA video. I feel like relaxing even with a good new book. And I'm fine with that, okay? I will put on a little Alpha Waves or Oppenheimer. I'm very, very happy like this, okay? Regardless, I'm going to put on my 3-piece suit, the tie. Once I've got it, as Goggins says, for those who don't feel like going to the gym, put your shoes on, start walking. Theoretically, when you get to the gym, I don't know anyone who's gone backwards, gone home. It's just not possible. It's the same here. There is no sense in my brain for me to get dressed up, put on the setup, whatever you want, and in the end, I turn everything off and go to sleep. Yes, your unconscious is stronger than your conscious, because it's the principle of commitment and coherence from Robert Cialdini's influence that takes control of your brain. You think by cognitive biases, not by personality. The 5th book summarizing how to become 15 times richer, really it's going to get people talking, Alpha Money Strategies by the King, Alpha Male Strategies. So what's the major change you're going to put on the checklist? I'm telling you, its ultimate lesson is that you need to change your girlfriend if she's not making you rich. You heard me right. By spending so much time with your girlfriend, you're going to get her sense of humor. You're going to get her IQ. You're going to get her focus, her work ethic. And knowing that you are not financially secure yet, I am your advocate. I don't see why you are going to let yourself be fooled by looks, even by someone else. Guys, we're invincible ourselves first, before we go to war and try to win the fight. But first, we make sure we don't lose. It's going to be the same in male-female relationships. We think like Sun Tzu, because the others around us don't reason like Sun Tzu. And most of the guys I see around me are either afraid of being cheated on, or they have already been cheated on, or in fact they have a body count 10 times lower than their girlfriend, or they're still thinking about their exes, or they would go after any girl, even frankly much uglier than they are. If your girlfriend makes you rich, it's especially smart to turn down all the other girls, even if they are prettier. Come on, let's talk straight, maybe even hotter or richer, but they were not going to do anything for you. Prefer the perfect girl with whom you will almost marry or start a family if she has a low body count and she hasn't ever smoked in her life. These are the 2 conditions I advise you to have. Start from the principle that you have to make your girlfriend profitable. You must not love her like you have never loved her before. That's only going to get you into trouble, because anyone with anyone, whether it's a girl or guy, whatever. When you give them your trust, when you put them on a pedestal, they are bound to get a big head and think you're a sock. So, in both cases, on the one hand, you're going to turn her on. That is, you're going to turn her on sexually and all that, even though we're only talking business here. And secondly, you're going to make her profitable, and she's going to make herself profitable, because you're actually going to be the rough draft. You're going to try and give her some ideas on how to create her own business. But in fact, you're going to be the rough draft, because she will be practicing on you. For example, she will create your first website. For example, she will create your YouTube thumbnails. For example, she will help you with the editing before offering it to others. You become a content creator at a time when you have great skills. It's going to take several years, but at some point, you're going to get DMs, where you're going to be followed by girls on Insta. That's normal. It's up to you to pick them up. I'm telling you, it's all about catching fish. If you see that the girl also looks like you, theoretically, it's bingo. If the sex goes well, at least, that's it, guys. You can get married, you can even have kids. Little by little, as the months go by, you're also going to show her what your job is, or at any rate, you're multi-trade, because if you're an entrepreneur, you're bound to be doing lots of things all day long. When you're doing all those tasks, maybe some of them will resonate with them. Why not try it out? Maybe it will work from the start, and little by little, in fact, she will be working for you too. So she will make everything worthwhile for you. I advise you to turn down all the girlfriends who won't make you rich, who will make you lose money, miss out on workouts. In fact, you're going to make a decrescendo in all around of everything, beauty, financially, even in your social relationships. Simple. Maybe diet, because every night, as a result, she doesn't necessarily want to eat the healthy dishes you cook. I would also advise you to stop having relationships with older women and teenage relationships with girls, in fact, who have roller coaster emotions. Your business is enough of a roller coaster that your, in quotes, emotional and sexual life should be too. We're here to relax. The sixth book summarized of how to become 15 times richer is the banger, better than Robert Greene's Power, but inevitably longer, so less commercial, because yes, it's a big baby, it's a heavyweight too. If I had to sum up this book in one major change to incorporate into your checklist, it's the chrysalis period. In the form of scissors and threads, you're going to cut off all your friendships. Why your friendships? Because they are what hold you to your old self. People love you for the vision you showed them before. You're changing and they're going to notice. At first, they will applaud you. Then, when you start changing too much and it becomes an inconvenience for them, they will shoot you on the spot. This is normal, both for you and for them. Let's face it, human relationships, whether it's love, whether it's family, whether it's friendship, even fraternal relationships, are all about balance of power. What is a balance of power? If you give me enough satisfaction for the level of energy I put into the relationship, I stay on good terms with you. Or, if not, I will cut the relationship off. I've got better things to do. Don't waste my time. You've probably already noticed this in love. We've all recognized it before. We had a little less time, or we were more obsessed by, for example, our business, even our passion, maybe even video games for some. Well, very quickly, the girl, in fact, in 2-3 days, she detaches herself. After that, it's impossible to get her back. And in fact, even before the relationship, she's already prepared to go out. That's it, guys. It's much the same in friendship. And the second cascade effect to respect at all costs is to stop thinking about them at all. It's to stop the rat race for likes. It's to stop making phone calls. It's to stop looking to see if they identify themselves on I don't know what social media. If they are together while you're alone and they haven't even told you, it's the right thing to do. This is not your life. That was the old you, enjoying yourself. Now, the new you, he feasts in the Pomodoro, he's enjoying himself in the Discord, maybe he's enjoying creating content, he delights in investing in gear, he delights in reading books like Robert Greene's Strategy, which teaches you more than my parents did for $27, taxes included. Stick to this rule. Don't send the first message at all for at least 6 months. And you will see who keeps on checking on you, who keeps on wishing you happy birthday, who keeps on going to your door, knocking, trying to call you, even on video, even if you don't answer, sending you their success themselves if they see that they are on the same wavelength as you and that, in fact, they still look like you. You will get the answers in 6 months of monk mode. The 7th book in the series on how to become 15 times richer is Dr. Laurent Alexander's The War of Intelligence. What is the most important thing you can take away from this book? It's that you have to stop studying if you don't want to become an adult and still have to keep to a timetable, being under the thumb of someone above you who is not necessarily smarter, not necessarily more intelligent, not necessarily even older, not necessarily more qualified, with more experience or whatever. Basically, if you don't have the soul of a deep submissive, or if you don't see yourself working for wages that don't make you rich in the end, salaried employment doesn't make you rich. It's the boss's aim that employees don't become rich enough. Why? Because if they did, they would quit their jobs. So the pyramid is well established and nothing is going to shake it. So if you don't see yourself growing old at work with no teeth, no hair, no wife, no memories, no memory, no nothing at all, shaking at the end, well then quit your studies now. You're going to say, yes, but what should I do if it doesn't work out and all? As David Goggins says, all the guys who succeeded tried it the first time. So after that, it's a matter of calculating in your head. Some people are smart, others not. Sometimes it can wait several years. So suffer enough. This is what Anthony Robbins calls the emotional threshold. At some point, it's going to piss you off enough not to try something else. You can't see the end of this shitty life. And at that point, you're going to move. If today you're not called upon to keep going, even if you're going to fail 8 times in a row, 80 times in a row, maybe even 160 times in a row, to keep moving forward anyway, that means you're a rat. Either it's a question of percentage or it's a question of profound nature, in which case there is nothing we can do for you. The solution for the rats listening to me, on the other hand, at low percentages, is that if you're really struggling at this start, you should move to a country where life is cheaper. For example, not shitty Dubai, I am anti-Dubai, but the Maghreb. The Maghreb is the same life as Dubai, just not as hot. So yeah, you might not have, I don't know what escort available, the drugs available, and I don't know what online entrepreneur available, but what do you think you're going to do with the online entrepreneur? Are you going to spend the night with him? Are you going to sleep in bed with him? No. And what is he going to do? Will he fight for your business? Is he going to give you an idea that will revolutionize $60 million in sales over 20 years? No. What works is the philosophy of the art of being happy. We're all alone in our lives, okay? Everyone thinks only of themselves. So I would rather pay 20 times less for my life than 20 times too much for the sucker I am not. Because if you are half a rat, at least try not to be half a pigeon. The 8th book of my top to become 15 times richer, there will be, I promise, the 16th at the end, stay well, it's how to get rich. The major change you apply after reading this book, let's say the ultimate lesson, is that you have to move back in with your parents despite earning your first dollars on the internet. So yes, you are right to choose this path, but your first dollars on the internet should not be there to benefit you directly and raise your social status. That's nonsense. What's intelligent is to reinvest directly in the gear that will enable you to promote what you do. So basically, invest in your content creation to play on the millionaire fastlane law of scale. The more people who know what you do, what you say, and your competitive edge, the richer you are. The best known online trainers, for example, are hyper-regulated in their content creation. Most of the time, I hear bad things about their products. On the other hand, their YouTube videos, YouTube podcasts, and so on are always super well produced. You, on the other hand, try to do the same after you have created your own good product. That way, you will be able to replace them in the short term. So remember one thing, the freedom of an apartment, the pleasure of a girlfriend, whatever you want, these are things you're not entitled to today. Once again, what makes you now is not what will make you. I prefer 100 times more someone who knows how to invest than someone who knows how to make money. Because there may be a new software, there may be a new AI, a new SaaS, a new fad, a new trend, a new algorithm, I don't know. You could be the loser of this movement. And what are you going to do with your BMW? I had a friend who trained in editing. Today, he sells high ticket. Today, he trains other editors. Today, he works for all the best known YouTubers. And he had asked me this question. I was disappointed in him, but I talk about it openly on YouTube. He said, "We will never get a second chance to turn 20 with a $120,000 car. Do you recommend this pleasure purchase or not?" I said to him, "Listen, editing maybe in, well, that's my opinion, 3-4 years from now, there won't be any editors left. There will only be AIs for long or short editing, whatever you like. So is it your Mercedes AMG like Hybrid TV that's going to bring you maybe 4,000, 5,000? He's over 10,000. $10,000 a month in cash flow? I don't think so, no. It's going to be quite the opposite." It was Robert Kiyosaki who explained it in his book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that if your most important investment in life is your home, you're bankrupt because it's a loan. Your most important investment is in fact your most important loan. You are worthless on paper and you're not safe. On the contrary, you're a slave. And speaking of money, let's get right to it. The 9th book in my top 15 times richer list is F You Money. So, you recognize the insult by Dan Lok. This book will teach you that there is no point in saving your money. My savings record is $21,000, and that was during my first 2 years of business, entrepreneurship, and investment. Very early on, I put more emphasis on investing, particularly in cryptocurrencies, than on creating a business. Because there is no point in trying to make money. There is no point in wasting time creating something that is going to replace a traditional salary if you don't know what to do with it. I wanted to focus on investment first. This is Dan Logg's philosophy. What you need to remember in your checklist, because often and around me this is the case, there are people who have more savings than reasoning to know what to do with it. So yes, it's very nice to have 40k in an account, I don't know where. Yes, it's very nice to have even $3,000 set aside on even one platform as an online service provider. On the other hand, if you don't have the courage to be able to put them in the crypto risk balance, the work you have done in the first place devalues. Respect your time. If you have sacrificed I don't know how many evenings to get that money, you haven't stolen it from anyone, invest it to give it even more importance. If you don't invest your money, it means you don't respect the time you spend earning it. The 10th book in this top 15 times richer summary is Become a Cryptomaniac. At least join a cryptomaniac entourage. What does cryptomaniac mean? It's kind of ironic. Basically, you have to swear by cryptos. In fact, you should dress up at the end of the bull run. You will understand what it means. As a brand of crypto, personally, I dress in Render, I dress in Akash, I dress in Ocean Protocol. The best platforms I can recommend are number 1, BitGet. Number 2, there's also Kraken, if the cryptos you're looking for are not available on BitGet. So often it's good to be on 2 platforms. I am on several platforms at once. I absolutely no longer invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and so on. I don't have any currencies in the top 100 cryptos today. So if you do and you respect me, ask yourself some questions, because you're wrong. Most of the time, people miss their first bull run. Most of the time, in fact, people miss all the bull runs in their lives. But let's say that in cryptos, in the crypto ecosystem, I think Hasher said that, you need 3 bull runs to become rich, to, in quotes, be safe. I agree with him, because this is my 3rd bull run, and it's nothing like the second and first ones I have experienced. Cryptos, for example, are very, very, very fashionable and will remain so for the next 2 years. So you're going to see all the apprentice traders trying to reinvent the wheel, or you're going to see guys who, in fact, play the investor, want to get rich, but when it comes to buying cryptos, are only going to put in maybe $200, even $2,000, even go $3,000, $4,000. And it's not a rich man syndrome. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still not rich today. But even when I had $8,000 in capital, well, I was putting $7,500 into cryptos, man. And I have always done the same thing. Why is that? Because, in fact, you have to invest in cryptos like a guy who had 100 times more money than you would invest to catch up. The 11th book summary to become 15 times richer, it's about having a business account and a fan account on YouTube. So you're going to have 2 accounts. You can create as many as you like. On your professional account, you will create a playlist called My Cumulative Effect. In it, you will put absolutely all the new gear you need to buy. You will put absolutely all the new marketing strategies you need to adopt, the videos you want to reproduce in your own way with your own substance, but the concept you've seen elsewhere and frankly, it's great. So you follow it. It's a kind of catch-all, but with only quality videos for you to reproduce. Mind you, I'm not just talking to content creators here, as you have already understood. Ultimately, you're making YouTube work like the best SaaS today. And my advice to you on this point is that most of the time when you're working in any case, don't go to the other pleasure account. But in the evening, when you're done, when you're with your girlfriend, if you live together, when you're eating your big evening meal, then you switch to your pleasure account because you don't need to use your brain anymore. Use YouTube as the best free spy. Your 12th book on how to become 15 times richer is the legendary Deep Work. What you need to remember from Deep Work, we will say the checkpoint really to tick off, is the 30-day challenge in relation to apps. So I don't want to hear anything. Even if you earn your living with them, uninstall all your applications. You can work largely with your computer. It's fine on it. Why? Because no matter what, these applications are better than you. Yes, when you're motivated, yes, when you've just got up, maybe you can resist. Maybe you can calm down your screen time. These apps are better than you when you are tired. I have a friend who's thinking of doing just a 1-minute session, and when he saw his screen time, he went up to 11. He finished the day at almost 2 hours. My mnemonic to get you to stop using these applications is to tell you that 6-year-olds who can barely speak or who have speech delays or delays in awakening everywhere because of screens are watching the same content as you. When you come across shorts that have 300,000 views, 3 million views, even 30 million views, every time tell yourself that inside there may be half the people you would not respect in the street for their appearance, their financial situation, their behavior, their morals, their philosophy of life, their amount of knowledge. It's entertainment. It's free dopamine. And when it's free, of course, you know it, you are the product. What does that mean? It means they want to control your attention. These rich people behind these applications are selling you airtime. In quotes, attention time, healthy time, energetic time of the little free time you have. Because your day is not 24 hours, okay? You take away sleep, as Muhammad Ali used to say. You take away your work, you take away cooking, eating, you take away napping maybe, you take away showering, you take away everything. At the end of the day, what do you have? Maybe 3 hours and 30 minutes of free time. And 3 hours and 30 minutes under what conditions? When you have finished studying, when you have finished working, when you are exhausted, when you are at 40% of your capacity. And same, that goes by very quickly, because after 30 or 35, most of us will have children and a wife at home. When you have children, your time is first and foremost for them. That's why you made them, theoretically, if you want to succeed. So, how much free time do you have at this point? You need to be rich and safe in less than 6 years. Don't add apps, don't add entertainment to your life, don't add suffering either. I'm not asking you to suffer more, but I am asking you to be more mature. I'm asking you to add IQ to your actions. If you don't have IQ, it's in the books. The 13th book summarized in one checkpoint of the checklist, shall we say, of the profitable entrepreneur who succeeds in the coming years is the one, the only, not Conor McGregor, but the personal MBA. Why? Because when it comes to consuming intelligent content, you need to banish podcasts at all costs. Now, you're going to say to me, what do you mean? It's a new fashion, I love it. Yes, but why do creators provide podcasts? I would like to say that it's a lot easier to produce a podcast. For the majority, it's going to be a discussion between 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, whatever you want, rather than a video with a real concept, a real substance condensed into 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. The level of work expected is not the same. What's more, the average length of a podcast today on YouTube is maybe 1 hour and 30 minutes. The average length of an educational video on YouTube is perhaps 12 minutes. A 12-minute educational video, if you watched it in ×2, drops to 6 already. And as you can see, if it's lousy, in 2 minutes, you're out of the video. A podcast, on the other hand, has plenty of subjects, plenty of hooks for you. So you're going to stay. And what's more, you will quickly move from one subject to another. You're more likely to stay if the video is long. And like I said, your free time is much more insufficient than you think. So ban podcasts, because the energy the creator puts into delivering them is much lower than in YouTube concept videos. And I would like to say one thing too. This is going to be a little borderline. I hope this won't be misunderstood for you, but often you're almost in love with content creators. They almost become gods, and you want to spend time with them as if they were your friends. But you don't have to go to content creators you like. You have to go to content creators who get you over the most hurdles, who give you the maximum CPM. CPM stands for content per minute. In 10 minutes, in 20 minutes, in 30, 40 minutes. What I try to do in my videos is to condense as many of my books as possible. It's not a discussion between friends because you're secretly in love with me, this video. The 14th book summarized to become 15 times richer is Robert Greene's classic of classic, Mastery. It's a very underrated book with a huge section on chrysalis. You have to do your reset as an entrepreneur on your business, maybe in the form of 3, 4, 5 checkpoints a year. I mean per year. This was a mistake I made a lot. At one point, for example, I was spending over $10,000, let's say over $8,000 a month on online service providers, that is, online partners, whatever you like. Only $1,000 or $1,500 a month went to editors. As a result, there were hardly any videos coming out. On the other hand, I had great designs. I had copywriting that was reworked by 3, 4, 5 copywriters. A great web dev, yes. But the means of communication video was no longer working. In 2080, my business is not books, it's video. And my budget in 2080, negative this time, was elsewhere. In quotes, it was lost. Vilfredo Pareto came and put a frontis on me. Everywhere, you need to do resets to work on your company, not in your company. You're not an employee of your company. You're going to make mind maps, whether it's for sports training over your week, your months, whatever you like. For competitions, even for street pickup, you can set number goals, date goals, even body count goals, if that's what you're interested in. For men, your value is not at all correlated to your body count, unlike women, because we are much more judged on our financial success. You can also list your expenses with all the AI subscriptions you follow, even maybe future training and gear. My favorite mind map is on my problems. So maybe I list my top 10 problems in my life at the moment, and I look for solutions to solve them. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 solutions. Each time I try to have as many solutions as possible. So don't be trapped in an entrepreneurial rat race. And thanks to Canva mind maps, but indeed any means of taking a bird's eye view of your business, you can allow yourself to add intelligence to your actions, IQ to your actions. The 15th summary book on how to become 15 times richer, but not the last, the bonus is right after. It comes from Napoleon Hill. For me, it's better than Think and Grow Rich, by the way. Succeed and grow rich through persuasion, which nobody talks about. I myself found it by chance. The lesson to be learned, let's say, from this concrete change, the Profitable Entrepreneur's Checklist, is about appearance. The best hack, even if you're ugly, even if you're fat, even if you're short, even if you're younger than the others in your company, is to smile before the person in front of you smiles. You can also smile longer, more often. In any case, it's a smile. Why? Because smiling is not worth anything. First, it makes you feel better, and second, more appreciated by others. When you talk to other people, it's like you're selling all the time, age 24, permanently. Even if there is no sales contract, friendship is sales, seduction is sales, marriage is sales, raising a child is sales. Because selling is trust. If he doesn't trust you, he won't listen to you, or he will lie to you. He will do things behind your back. He will even try to harm you. And I'm going to go even further and tell you about the impact of a hairdresser, the impact of a good haircut. I would say you need to go to the hairdresser maybe every 3 weeks maximum for men, really maximum, to get the fashionable white gradient that is always being updated. Why is that? Because, in my opinion, the barber makes you more beautiful, cleaner, and more attractive than bodybuilding, a big car, all the face creams in the world. Everything except suits and a super pretty girl on your arms. And as promised, the 16th book summarized to become, 16 times richer, let's be optimistic, is Tribe of Mentors. It's about asking yourself questions, forcing yourself to ask questions you've never asked yourself before. Every day I ask myself a question. For example, what are the 5 essential dietary supplements for a vegan? The next day, in what position should I eat all my meals? It's going to be a bit of an Indian style sitting position. That's what I learned recently. Because by asking yourself questions you've never asked yourself, you've never been so close, at least on the right path, to achieving results you've never known. Easy.